Digimon Ghost Game episode 21 brought back a villain from 02 that I have been hoping to see since episode 2 when we saw her partner in crime from 02, Mummymon, appear in Ghost Game. I'm talking of course about Arukenimon, I think one of the all-time great villains from the early 2000s run of Digimon shows, both in design and screen presence. She is fully reimagined here in episode 21 of the new series. But because Mummymon only appeared in one of his forms in episode 2, that more monster-like form, I suspected that if we ever got Arukenimon in Ghost, she would only appear in that monster arachnic form. But Ghost Game episode 21, it gave us the best case scenario featuring both her human disguise look and her monster look. Not only that, Arukenimon had an amazing showing in this episode, super imposing, and in fact one of the only enemies to completely and utterly beat our protagonists at the end, totally winning until we got the surprise appearance of a Dark Digimon. Well, two Dark Digimon actually. We'll talk about all that and more in just a bit because this is the episode 21 review discussion on the Digino. Full spoilers for the episode and its shocking final 2 minutes, so you've been warned. Make sure you watch the episode before you watch this. Like most episodes, we open with a scene of humans who aren't our main cast being attacked by the villainous Digimon of the week, but with Arukenimon it's absolutely one of the creepiest yet, with her ambushing salarymen and apparently eating them alive, devouring their brains. In fact, Ghost Game has been getting darker and darker with its cold opens recently, like how last week we saw a man burning alive after a house fire. It was a great start for 2022 Arukenimon in terms of intimidating the audience, and next we see her in that humanoid form straight up coming to Hiro's residence pretending to be a colleague of his mom's. Really interesting here, she lies and says she knows what Digimon are because Hiro's mom told her about Gammamon, which more importantly means that Hiro has told his mom about Digimon. This I thought was super interesting because she has not really been a character at all in this show. She's living abroad and we never really mentioned her after episode 1, so I guess we learned here that Hiro and his mom are still making regular phone calls, or at the very least texting each other. We don't know exactly how they're communicating, but Hiro has told his mom about Digimon. Very curious how she took that. I would have loved to have seen that phone call and if she was surprised or if she maybe knew because of Hiro's dad's research. Of course, Arukenimon is not the ally she pretends to be, though she does successfully get Hiro to gather his human friends and their Digimon partners and says that she's taken them to an insect exhibit because she has a theory or observation that Digimon behavior is not unlike the behavior of insects. A little bit of a weird setup for this one, but it gets us to the location of our confrontation this week, an abandoned mall that she claimed hosted this insect exhibit, but was in fact just an empty mall filled with humans she'd captured plus a ridiculous amount of Dokugumon allies. She uses her webs to catch and link humans and likens it to a neural network, something I thought was quite cool, and she says she wants to do the same thing to them and their Digimon. She also claims that the best way to understand a subject is to devour its brains, so we established very early in the scenario what the stakes are if we lose the fight. The encounter is great, featuring all 3 evolutions. Again, definitely watch this episode if you haven't already. We see Gammamon back in the Wezen Gammamon form, which is nice because I felt it had been a little bit underutilized until recently, and we even swapped to Chaos Gammamon at a point, so not unlike last week where Gammamon was bouncing between 3 forms. We use Wezen and Chaos for different purposes here, and it's all great, but eventually we are outnumbered, and all members of the team, so Ruli, Angoramon, Jellymon, Kiyoshiro, Gammamon, and Hiro, they're all bested and caught in Arukenimon's webs, just dangling from the ceiling. Arukenimon is most fascinated in Gammamon for his ability to swap between evolutions in a way that she hadn't quite seen before, and so he's first on her agenda as far as devouring goes. The team is utterly helpless to stop this as her jaw opens up and she inches towards Gammamon, but again, final spoiler warning, at the last possible second, Gammamon activates that Dark Digivolution from episode 13, goes into the Gulus Gammamon form for a second time, and essentially destroys Arukenimon One Punch Man style. Notably, Gulus is far more calm and collected this time, still massively intimidating, but it does not feel like we are in the same immediate danger, and it does not feel like Gulus wants to harm our team like he did the first time in episode 13. He says something really interesting. When Hiro inches towards him, Gulus says, "Stay back, it's not time yet, see ya," and then reverts into Gammamon. As if that wasn't enough, in a bit of a repeat of the Black Agumon reveal where that Digimon was watching over the first Gulus Gammamon appearance, we pan up to see Black Gargomon, as in a dark version of Terriermon's champion form, Gargomon. This is something I cannot really process as of recording this review a few hours after the episode went live. Up until now, we've been seeing a lot of dark forms of Adventure 1999 Digimon, as I mentioned in my last video, but now we have a dark form of a Tamer's main character Digimon. Well, technically 2, since we had Yokomon in episode 6, who is a purple purplish black version of Kyubimon, the Renamon champion form. I honestly don't know what this is supposed to mean other than a legion of dark Digimon. I keep going back and forth on that idea, that theory. After last week showed Saberdramon, the sort of black Birdramon, just being a normal Digimon, not really with an ulterior motive. I thought maybe the dark Digimon alliance thing was not real, but the way the Black Agumon and the Black GALGOMON are just watching over Gulus Gammamon from the shadows, it screams secret organization to me. I don't know. This was a great episode for me, for an Arukenimon fan who has been waiting for this character to make a Ghost game appearance. I'm kind of sad though, it seems like she's completely done after this episode based on what Gulus Gammamon did to her, and this potentially rules out the possibility of Mummymon and Arukenimon reuniting at all. Mummymon is still out there after all, though I'm starting to lose hope as it's been 20 weeks since we last saw him, even though we ended things on great terms. I miss that character a lot and I wish he got to meet 2022 Arukenimon, but it's just wishful thinking. Not the end of the world. But the episode was great when it came to creepiness and action. The fact we straight up lost this one is new, and I don't think any amount of talking would have changed Arukenimon's mind. Like, I'm glad they didn't even try to let Hiro attempt to reason with her. The Gulus Gammamon appearance and the Black GALGOMON caught me completely by surprise, and while they are welcome additions, I almost think I'm sad those two characters stole the show from Arukenimon. Like, now I have to think hard about this thumbnail for this video because it was obviously going to be Arukenimon, but you know, Gulus and Black GALGOMON are huge news. As always, let me know what you thought about this episode. Hope you didn't mind the minimal visuals this week in my video. As I mentioned before, I'm trying to tone down the visuals a bit for the weekly reviews just to strike a better work-life balance with the channel. I do have to make the videos on the weekend, usually on Saturday nights or Sunday mornings after all, and that's on top of a full Monday to Friday job. So, you know, thank you for listening. Hope you have a great week, and I'll see you in the next video.